Welcome to another episode of Women Investing in Women. Robin and I, week after week, are thrilled and honored to feature different women from different walks of life, from different parts of the world, choosing to make an impact, choosing to change the world around them, not just for themselves, but for other women who are coming behind them, after them. And they are also not afraid to reach in, lean in, and seek assistance from those who came before them. This is what Women Investing in Women is all about. And today's conversation is going to be centered on how can we as women help women create impact in their chosen fields. How do we make that happen? What does it take to collaborate that and drive that kind of growth and sustainability around the world? And what is the outcome of it, not just economically for those who are involved, but from a very personal perspective in terms of what does it mean? How does it affect us individually? And how does it transform us? These are all important places we're going to go. And I cannot wait for you as our audience to just listen in and get some impactful information and nuggets of wisdom. Robin, take it away.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And I am really delighted to have Adriana Dakin as our guest today. I only met Adriana just a few months ago at a David and Carol Bayer Powerful Living Experience conference, where Adriana shared a little bit about what she did, but she's with ImaginePod and helps women entrepreneurs and people of color get funding, develop strategies, and be able to move forward in the world with their business ideas and making a big impact in the world. And so I'm curious about knowing, how did you even get into wanting to help women and wanting to help women who are starting businesses?
Sure, thank you. And it's so good to be here. I've been enjoying your episodes so much. So at ImaginePod, as you said, we work with social impact leaders in specifically, especially women and people of color. We're speeding up their fundraising and their marketing expertise so they can bring in the dollars that they need for their work and build their human talent inside themselves and their teams to propel movements and make a significant impact in their community or cause. And the reason that I do this is because of my mom and dad, I would say, and my grandma and grandpa. My dad was involved in USSR citizen diplomacy, and he was a publisher and a philanthropist, printing the writings of political dissidents as they were smuggled out of the Soviet Union and publishing, and he thought he would never be allowed there. But in 1988 and onwards, when things were crumbling in the Soviet Union, he was, and he set up a telecom company there together with others. And it was like the power of being an individual citizen and connecting people in Moscow and Paris and San Francisco and all these places to begin to talk together. Like you and I, us three talking on Zoom would be a dream for him. He was laying cables in the streets and setting up huge screens to help people talk during the Cold War and setting up copier machines, getting the KGB and the State Department to cooperate, building partnerships, having an incubator for these organizations to come up with their ideas. And meanwhile, my mom was founding a Waldorf school because she wanted a place for us all, us three girls, to have a good school to go to help with our creativity and, give us a good start in life. So that was in San Francisco. So it just felt, growing up, it felt like things are possible. But then my dad did an important thing. He said, I think you would enjoy joining young women social entrepreneurs. And so I joined them. It was right after I had done my master's in public policy degree at the Harvard Kennedy School. So I was feeling, smart from having gone to Harvard for grad school, but still needed some sorry, I should put my phone away. I was wondering if it was Leilani. Sorry about that little need for an edit. I can help you edit this footage, by the way, since I do that. So Ugh, now I lost that. I should restart the sentence so it will start more easily when you're editing. Um, boy, that's a thing. I should make sure to put my cell phone away. I only had it here in case Leilani was trying to reach me, but I'll help you get that edited, this part edited out. So can you remind me what I was saying?
You were talking about how your mom put you in Waldorf school.
Yeah.
And you had graduated from Harvard. That you want to join. Your dad said you should join the Young Women's Entrepreneurs Organization.
Yeah.
After you graduated from Harvard, you were feeling very smart.
Right. So I joined at his suggestion. I went to one of the events, and it was so special to be amongst women who were sharing personally from their experience and their businesses and their careers and listening so well. I had never been in an atmosphere where people were lifting each other up so well and listening so well. So it was a lucky thing that had just started a couple of years ago. I was in on the early years of it, and I went on to help lead it for 10 years as a board member, bringing in all these executive coaches to help fund us in small groups and doing not fund us, to train us and build our capacity and to think more deeply about what we wanted. So I went from thinking, I'm going to be a database specialist, which is, that's not very big picture or visionary, to now being able to be a VP. I was a senior VP in national agencies doing impact marketing work around the world with amazing movements like Define American with Pulitzer Prize winning author Jose Antonio Vargas that helped shift how we talk about immigrants, and UNHCR and Global Teacher Prize, Amnesty International. So really having a bigger vision and talents for what I could do because of the coaching that I got. So I want to pay that forward now with what I do in my work and be able to go deeply with people and not just having a strategy and tactics and platforms to use, but having these really well aligned with how to get through the obstacles they face, because we all do face obstacles and limiting beliefs, and to do it in an empowered, collaborative way with action plans that come out of those empowered decisions in a way that's very aligned and powerful.
That is wonderful to hear. And it is amazing how parents in so many different ways influence us, right?
Yeah.
So that is great to hear. And as you got into this and as you do what you're doing today, how have you seen yourself transform throughout this journey?
Yes, that's a good question. I help people with their transformations, and meanwhile, I myself am transforming. I was very shy as a little kid. I remember hiding under the table if teachers came over to talk with my parents, which they often did because they were the founders of the Waldorf School, and we had a teacher living next door, and so I was shy. But then I started realizing over time that other people aren't paying that much attention to, you can live it up, and actually that will help other people relax more. The more you are comfortable, other people can be comfortable. So it took years. I think I'm also a slow bloomer, and I'm still growing and learning and unlearning things. For example, right now, I work half-time for a community foundation, and I lead strategy and partnerships. And we're creating partnerships, especially with Indigenous and Latino communities. And I'm needing to become much more conscious of the colonization that's happened in California and the rest of the United States, and how we are really newcomers here, and helping to change how we interact with people and really bring more funding and more investing to the people who've been traumatized for generations. And it's very inspiring work. Like on Monday, I was in a scholarship review session for Native American scholarships, and all the 12 students were amazing with what they've experienced in their lives and the things they've needed to come through and actually take now as inspiration for their careers, like the medical challenges that have happened in their families and the lack of resources they've seen to be able to address them, and hours of work they need to do each week to pay for their own expenses, even though they're only kids. And so they can't be in sports. They're when they can be resilient about this, they're transforming it into inspiration for their career. But of course, wouldn't it be even better if they had more support for their growth and, help earlier on so that it's less traumatic growing up?
Yeah, this is really amazing what you're talking about. And I'm wondering, for the many, many different women's and women's groups that you've worked with, is there a common type, some common characteristics amongst them as far as who is asking and seeking for help? And also, is there a common mindset or a common set of challenges that you are finding that you need to help them work through?
Yes. Something that's common is, because this is social impact work, the needs are greater than what's available always. Like, even if one has $1 million, the needs in a community are more than that. So we've realized we really need to focus on helping social impact leaders at the very start of like bringing in the money and doing it in a smarter way and with a powerful mindset, one that's consistent, that doesn't have fear of making the ask or fear of rejection. And we keep seeing that a lot of people, even when they're in high-level positions, have some imposter syndrome and this fear of making the ask, fear of rejection. That just comes up so commonly, feeling like they're not good enough to do this work. But somebody does need to do it, right? So it's worth it to tackle it and figure out what are those limiting beliefs. And there are similar things that keep coming up over and over. And so, but yet in unique ways. And so it really helps to be able to give an individual coaching session to help people figure out what their unique obstacles are, because everyone's experiences in childhood and growing up are different. And some of the things that they are trying to overcome are similar, but it helps to have a one-to-one session to get at what is their, what's holding them back and what's their empowered decision they want to make. And then we help people in group settings so they can help each other from that new empowered place, to get their actions, with strategically off the ground and flying that airplane and approaching any obstacles that come up from a more empowered place and resetting themselves.
That is interesting, the various different scenarios you're playing out there. And one of the things you said really resonated for me. No matter how much funding you have, the need is greater than what is available.
Mm-hmm.
And that is reality. And so how do you help organizations navigate that? Because even in successful, affluent societies, there are needs for things that no amount of money can buy sometimes, right? And then in poorer, disadvantaged communities, it's magnified and things are interrelated.
We really actually have fun with this, and we do this collaboratively and in a very approachable, friendly way. So we want to be there for people to help them out, to figure out what's right for them. And we've brought in funding from 2 tech platforms that have set up partnerships with us, and they give us funding every month to help social entrepreneurs get their fundraising off the ground or to improve it. So we've started an incubator to have this beautiful collaborative space, safe space to get work done. And then it's a place held on your calendar to do the work. And we help them get started. So a lot of people have done fundraising in the past, but they might not be using the best platform or the best approach. Maybe they're not doing their storytelling well, whatever it is. We work through it in our office hours in our incubator and help them put the, combine mindset with strategy, with action taking all at once by working together and getting their campaigns going so that they can start bringing in those first dollars and making the calls to their network. And so for those that have big goals, they need to do more networking. Getting funding in takes a lot of relationship building, and you don't want to be relying on just emails being sent out. or social media posts or social ads. You need to be building relationships, meeting people either in person or on the phone or on video, so that they can really connect with you and hear about it. So we help people move from not just relying on a strategy of hope, to taking action that would really count. For example, we worked with a woman in December. She had just had a flop on Giving Tuesday. It didn't work out. Hardly anybody gave, and she could have felt rejected. Luckily, the very next day, we were talking together, and what we decided, we went through a decision matrix, and we figured out what was holding her back, what her empowered decisions were, and what's the evidence of these decisions already being at play in her life. And all this was aligned under a central goal, like an area of want. And then that kind of framework helped her think more powerfully. Suddenly she felt really, good and clear and energized, which you don't when you're just thinking about your fears, like, I'm afraid of making the ask. So we then created an action plan, and she decided that she would make a certain number of calls each and every day. And it was the holiday season. She went and did that, and she ended up raising $117,000 during the holidays and the period right after, from the actions she had taken during the holidays. And, 5 calls per day, that's a lot of work, but she also was able to bring in a lot of money so that then she could fund the National Black Youth Mentoring Network that is making a difference in all these communities, so that young Black people can go to college and get the career mentoring they need. So I would say it was worth it that she did not get stopped by the lack of action, the lack of results on Giving Tuesday, and instead immediately went into, I'm going to make X number of calls per day, and she went and did it.
Yeah, that's really exciting, where you can see the change in people's lives. What I want to dig into a little bit is a little bit more of what is the emotional drive for you to want to help women, want to help young women. What is it that is, I mean, I know I'm very impressed, excited that you went to Harvard, you were with the Waldorf training, all of that. But in addition to that, what is it on almost an emotional or spiritual or philosophical level that is driving you to this work?
Let's think about that. That is a really good, deep question there. Well, as I mentioned, my dad believed in me. My mom did so much, and I know how much that made a difference to me to have people who really believed in me. My grandma, she had made a big difference in the world as a young woman. In Nazi Germany. She was one of 7 children, and the daughter of the head of the whole German army. So they were living in military headquarters and hearing intel, what was happening in Germany in the 1930s. And then they were using that information to get Jews and documents out to safety. And she sold her silverware that she had and got a motorcycle to be able to do that. So I think from early on, I just knew that I wanted to be able to make a difference. And I love that experience with young women social entrepreneurs, where women were listening so well to each other. It also showed me the lack of it in other places, and the need for it, like how it could make such a big difference and lead to ideas that couldn't have happened before. Like, imagine if I hadn't had them, I might have gone on to have a dull database career. I mean, I love data and organizing information and hierarchies and categories and such, but that would not have been the best fulfillment of my potential, right? So it was like seeing that this really makes a difference in people's lives, and having experienced it myself. Let's see what else. And then when I've been raising my daughter, who's now 15, she's such a can-do 15-year-old who's getting A+ and running a 6-minute mile now. I've never seen somebody so determined. And when she was like 2 or 3, my mom, who was raised in more of a German military family, literally, she said, I don't know what to do with her. She's so empowered. And I was like, yes. So I just think in all parts of my life, it feels good when people can be empowered and achieving their best. And I definitely think that my dad was really a part of, he kept saying, like, even when I had a shaved head, he said, "You look good by default. Anything you do is right." So it was amazing to have that kind of loyalty and backing no matter what for just who I am, whatever I am, however I'm dressed or doing my hair. He always wanted the best for me and would advocate for me and say, "You need to be charging more," or something like that. Yeah.
That is so beautiful to hear, especially the power and the impact of not just the women in your life, but your dad. When the male adult in the family is supportive, girls grow up to be very different, right? You see yourself through the eyes of the father, and that sets you up for all relationships that are mixed gender in the world. So I am just happy to hear you talk about it. It just makes me smile when you talk about your daughter, and that's what you're trying to do for other women and the children of those women, right? So this is very, very impactful. And what I am trying to figure out as if I were the audience member listening to this, I'm going to be curious on two levels. How do I get a hold of you? And how do I get access to this much support, insight, and motivation? How do I engage?
Yes. Well, if you are a person who loves learning, taking action, having a powerful mindset, making a difference in the world, and doing it together with other great people who know a ton about fundraising and marketing and communications, people who for whom that fits their description can sign up for a free coaching session with me to do their own empowered decision matrix. And we can do that together so that then they can approach their work with fresh perspective that overcomes their limiting beliefs and obstacles and can be fueled by their new and powerful decisions and have evidence to back those decisions, because our brains are a goal achieving machine. So the more we can give it evidence of these new and powerful decisions being right for right now, this can result in an action plan for the next 30 days. And if you are an action taker, it can lead to the results that I shared a moment ago, like this woman, Tracy, just taking action each and every day, calling a certain number of people per day, and it resulted in $117,000. It just really depends on the action taking you'll take, the powerful questions you ask yourself. And so I want to help people by giving a free coaching session to help you create a vision for the transformation that you can achieve over the next 18 months. Yes, so I can be reached easily, like I can respond within minutes usually, at hello@imaginepod.com. So hello@imaginepod.com, or via text 707-272-0066. I'm quick on texting, and you can tell me what piqued your interest to know more about and what your challenges are. We have playbooks on many different areas like fundraising, impact marketing, getting sponsorships, bringing in grants, investing in each other. We know about flow funding that Marian Rockefeller Weber started. We run a fundraising incubator with weekly office hours, and we have the on-demand short form video storytelling course that I mentioned, and it's available at a very accessible price. We have it included in our $25 per month group coaching community, and it includes live discussions on Wednesdays. And then individuals who join us become part of a cohort, basically, it feels like family. So collaborative leaders working together, learning together, lifting each other up. And then sometimes foundations hire us to lead and facilitate cohort-based learning experiences with a custom curriculum. So we're available for that as well. And some of the things that we are offering in each month, we have a mini training. So the next one will be on getting grants, and it includes harnessing using ChatGPT ethically so that you can have a small but mighty team getting content out. We have trainings on treasure mapping your client journey, email programs for small but mighty teams, how to run social media ads. So we are there to train people in whatever they need doing from our vast experience.
That's great. You know what? With every guest, we say the same thing at the end. The time just zooms by. And we have so appreciated having you on and sharing your wisdom and your perspective. Is there one tiny, very short nugget, golden nugget that you could share with the women
Yes.
or men who listen to this at the very, very end?
I would pass on again my negotiation professor's advice at Harvard to speak up in the first 5 minutes of conversations so that it's easier to be engaged and to stay engaged.
That is wonderful. And this has been truly a remarkable conversation. I am excited for our audience to tap into this. And I believe you're going to hear from at least a few people.
Great.
You're definitely going to hear from people.
I do want to add that I've loved watching your episodes, as you know, and I love creating short clips from videos. So I myself use the storytelling techniques that we show. And so I could create ads that benefit you and us collaboratively. I know that you encourage people to share these with our own networks. And I want to assure you that I do that because I know it's all too often that when one posts professional content, few people will click like or share it, and more people click like when it's like on kids and kitties. And we need to do more amplifying of each other's voices. And we have funding to do this. So we love to create short clips and get word out that helps us and helps you at the same time.
Thank you so much. And you are creating the lived experience of what is going to help others. So you're not just teaching it. You're modeling it, and that is the best way to move forward. And to our audience out there, you've heard what Adriana has been talking about. You know you or someone in your immediate circle needs this. So just have the courage to step in and seek the help, learn, grow, and create impact together, because together we can absolutely go further. And together we can create a much larger impact.